Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, what's your name?
Noemi.
Okay.
Good morning, this is Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreter on the line, already sworn in today.
All right. If you could, one second, we're just getting the headphones on her.
Okay, one moment, Your Honor. They're in courtroom one, right? You're in
Correct.
courtroom one?
Yes.
Sí.
She can hear the interpreter, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, your name?
Noemi Peyot.
Noemi Pejot.
You are here in case number 2020 MM 457AA, one count of battery domestic violence. I've reviewed the affidavit. Does everybody get the public defender?
Yes.
I've reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause. I'll temporarily appoint the public defender. Any contact with the alleged victim? Anybody? No contact?
No.
He's also booked in.
Oh, is he co-defendant?
Yes.
What's his name?
Jose.
Echeverria?
Yeah.
I got him. Yeah, let's bring him out here. Let's get him right over here. Please.
I'm so nervous, man.
Ms. Charles,
I emailed
you're going to be representing both individuals at this hearing.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you a second to talk to both of them at the same time here in just a moment.
Okay.
All right. Sir, your name?
Jose Echeverria.
All right, so you're here in case number 2020 MM 458AA, one kind of battery domestic, one kind of resisting officer without violence. You guys are co-defendants and you're also co-combatants, okay? So I'll temporarily appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me anything that you want to tell me as the victim in this case, but understand that as the defendant you also have the right to remain silent. I'm going to give Ms. Cortez the same opportunity. So I don't know if you want to talk to them first before they decide if they're going to give me statements as victims on this, okay?
Okay.
All right, take a moment.
Your Honor, Mr. Echeverria does not need the interpreter?
No.
Okay. And I don't have a visual on Ms. Pejot, but she still has the headsets on?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sir, is there anything that you want to tell me as the alleged victim in this case?
No.
All right. All right, Ms. Cortez, you were listed as the alleged victim in Mr. Echeveria's case. Is there anything that you want to tell me?
Yo quiero una orden de restricción. Sí.
I do want an injunction against him.
Do you guys live together?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. And, okay. All right, State, do you have any questions for either?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any questions for either?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right, Ms. Cortez, you qualify for pretrial release. I can either order pretrial release or set your bond at $250. Do you want the pretrial release or the bond?
Okay. Tengo que escoger algo. Uno de las dos.
Do I have to choose one or the other?
Yes.
Yo pago.
All right. I'll set your bond at $250 or pretrial release. You can make that decision whenever you want to get out of jail. This happened at a hotel room, is that correct?
Okay.
I'll get
Okay.
to you back. I'll get back to you again, sir. I'm sorry. Is there any reason for you to go back to this hotel room?
He doesn't live there. You know,
I don't know.
I'm sorry, the interpreter could not hear the response, Your Honor.
All right. Ma'am, is there any reason for you to go back to this
No.
hotel room?
No.
No.
All right. So I'll set your bond at $250 for pretrial release. No contact with the alleged victim. No return to the scene. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons.
Okay.
Mr. Echeverria, I'm going to set your bond at $250. Is there any reason for you to go back to the scene? Okay. All right. There'll be no contact with the alleged victim. No return to the scene. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Okay?
He has two counts.
Oh, and count two will be $100.
And Judge McGinnis, they're not doing temporary, they're doing a permanent PD appointment. Because when you do temporary, we don't put it in Odyssey.
Why do they both get the PD if they don't qualify?
So you want one of them with it and the other one not, or just do
I mean, if they don't even fill out PD forms and they don't qualify for the PD, how do they get it?
That's what they've been doing. But they're gonna start emailing if we don't put it in the system, even if you say temporary appointment.
So you're asking me to come in and leave?
I put temporary, that's what we want. We want to plan an Odyssey, and then the public defender's office is gonna start emailing.
I'm just gonna put it in the PD.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, is that the only case for the
One
interpreter?
more,
Okay, thank you.
and he's coming out right
Doesn't matter
now.
how you want it. I'm gonna leave it like this.
All right, sir, your name?
Jesús Casanas. Casanas.
Jesus Casanos.
All right, sir, you are here in case number 2020 CF 10308AO. One count of burglary,
But just
one count of larceny between 20,000 and 100,000. One count of damage to property, one count of dealing in stolen property, one count of false verification of ownership, one count of false owner info for a pawn item greater than $300. This is via an arrest warrant. According to this warrant, your bond is set at $3,500 on count one. I'll set count two at $150. And I'll stay count 3 at 150, count 4 at 100, and count 5 at 100. Count 6 at 100, count 7 100, count 8 100, count 9, 100, 10, 100, 11, 100, and 12, 100. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you on all these. Is that the only case he has, or does he have another one?
I have something different. Let me see.
Yeah.
I think we both have a warrant, so this page might be on.
I just read off the one.
No, we're gonna have to have it fixed. It's okay.
Okay. All I did was change count 2 to subsidiary.
Right.
All right, thank you, Madam Interpreter. Do we have a Creole interpreter that's available?
Your Honor,
on
Let me
standby.
check your honor on the.
are there going to be no contact orders or no return orders?
Was that on the warrant? Did I miss that?
I don't know if it was on the warrant. I don't have a copy of the warrant itself, but looking at the charges,
I just state everything that was on the warrant.
if it wasn't on the,
No, yeah, it says other conditions shall include, and it's left blank.
and this is just a question for courtroom personnel. The other case that I had attached, he's already been IA'd on?
No, he has another case. It's 2020 CF 1120180. It's a possession charges.
And that was 11208 Apple Orange.
It's probably in the felony section. Probably was never pulled.
1120180.
2018.
And I'll pull it.
AO.
That's why.
Your Honor, it's my understanding that we do have the request for the Creole. We're not in the same office, so as soon as, Madam Clerk, do you want us, Sydney to call you as soon as she's available, or you want to give it a few minutes
Did you
and call
wanna?
back?
Yes, yes.
But we're going
Okay.
to, if we're going to do the second case, we're going to need the Spanish interpreter for the second case on Mr. Casanas.
Yeah. Madam Interpreter, can we bring that last gentleman back?
I'm still here, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. What's his last name? Starts with a C, right?
Casanas.
Casanas.
Kasana.
Kasana. We passed it already. Let me see.
Misdemeanors. City ordinances, felony. Best, and then it goes to Daniels.
Okay. I'm sorry. Judge, do you have any conditions on this case? I know the state asked. Did you order any? No? Okay.
They go back out.
No, we're gonna get it together. Yeah. That was you from that trip. Any questions, you can check it with her.
Are we gonna grab Casanas to bring him back, or? Okay, I didn't think, I was hoping you didn't get that far away. All right, your name again, sir?
Nuevamente, señor, su nombre.
He came through the
Jesús
speaker.
Casanos.
Jesús Casanos.
2020 CF 11201AO. It's the second case you had. Looks like maybe when they served that warrant, it pulled you over. I reviewed the affidavit. I found probable cause. With regards to count 4, trafficking in heroin, I'll set your bond at $75,000. Count 1, I'll set at $150. Count 2, $150. Count 3, $150. Count 5, $150. Count 6, $150. And count 7, $150. I'll appoint the public defender on that case for you as well. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Interpreter.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All right, your name?
Alexander Afanasiev.
All right, so what happened to Paula Harding?
She's medical, Your Honor.
Medical? So are we rolling or temporarily appointing on the medical?
We reset this from yesterday because we were hoping she'd be able to plead. So I don't know if,
PD, waiver roll.
You can roll, Your Honor.
All right, roll to tomorrow.
That was medical, correct?
Medical.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Avanasiv, that's you, sir?
Yes,
Okay, all right, and sir, your name?
I'm Gennady Afanasyev. I'm the victim, the father.
All right, I believe there are maybe two victims in this
My
case.
wife is in intensive care right now.
Okay, all right. I reviewed the affidavit, I found probable cause, I'll appoint the public defender. Sir, you're listed as one of the two alleged victims in this case. As the alleged victim, you're entitled to provide input with regards to conditions of his release. Is there anything that you want to tell me, anything you think the court should know in determining those
Yes.
conditions?
Yes,
What would you like to tell me, sir?
I would like to tell you that you absolutely should not release him on the streets. He's a violent person. He almost killed my wife and I yesterday. It's a miracle that we're still alive. My wife is in intensive care. He took a hammer. He bludgeoned us repeatedly on the head, both of us, in our home. It's a miracle that I'm standing here right now. Please do not let him on the streets, please, Your Honor.
So, the law says that I have to give him a bond, okay? So I cannot hold him at no bond. Now, the law gives me discretion as to how high or low that bond can be, but I have to give him a bond. Do you understand?
But what about the fact that I believe he has something wrong with his head, because he attacked his mom and dad with a hammer. You understand? Can you not put him in a mental institution involuntarily for evaluation, so that keep him there and maybe figure out what's wrong with his head?
So, again, I cannot. Trust me, I've spent 2 years out of the jail handling these cases, over 2 years. There are a lot of things that I am allowed to do and a lot of things that I am not allowed to do. I cannot have him committed involuntarily, but the judge that's actually assigned to this case, that might be something that they can do, but I cannot order that today.
Where will he be in the meantime?
If he does not post his bond,
Yeah?
he'll be right here. If he does post his bond, the only things that I can order is that he has no contact with you or your wife, and that he doesn't return to the scene. I can order that he can't leave the county or anything of that nature, but I cannot order him to stay in a facility at this point.
Your Honor, he's gonna come and kill me and my wife, and we have another daughter at home. He tried it yesterday with a hammer.
I understand, sir. I believe me, I understand. State, do you have any questions for him?
no, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any questions for him?
No, Your Honor.
All right. State, any input with regards to release?
But what happens now, Your Honor?
Well, now I'm going to set the conditions of his release, and then I can explain it to you as
Okay.
well.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the safety of the victims and the safety of the community. And the state would ask the court to set bond as to count 1 in the amount of $50,000, as to count 2 in the amount of $50,000. State would also ask for no contact, no return, maintain separate residence, possess no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. And if there is a passport, to surrender the passport within 6 hours of release.
All right. Any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd be asking for a lower bond on those counts and an amount attainable to him. He is a university student, currently unemployed, and the same other conditions, no contact, no return.
All right. So in the first case, 2020 CF 11181AO, I'll set his bond at $50,000. No contact with the alleged victims. No return to the scene. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, weapons, hammers, anything of that nature. In case number 2020 CF 11185AO, I'll set count 1 at $50,000. Count 2 at $150. No contact with the alleged victims. No return to the scene. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, weapons, or hammers. In 2020 CF 11183AO, I'll set your bond at $50,000 on count 1, $150 on count 2. No return to the scene. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Do you understand?
Of course.
Okay. All right. All right, sir. So I set his bond at about $151,000. Okay. No contact. No contact means no texting, tweeting, phone calls, in person, third party, anything of that nature. So if you receive any contact, then you immediately contact the state attorney's office. Okay.
How do I put him in a mental institution?
That would be a question that I can't answer you. If you want to stick around, the state attorney might have an opportunity to talk to you afterwards.
Who?
The prosecutor in this case.
Is it this lady here?
Well, for this hearing only, but after this, we might be able to get somebody for you. Is there a number or something?
Your Honor, I'll put a,
All right, we'll
I'll
give you
put it
contact information for you to call, okay?
and Your Honor, if
And
the court.
he will remain in custody as long as the bail is not posted,
Correct,
for as long as that's not posted.
correct.
Okay.
And Your Honor, if the court would also advise the victim that in addition to calling the state attorney's office, should he have contact, he should also call law
Well,
enforcement.
yeah,
Should he have contact?
yeah, if he has contact with you, call 911, okay?
Your Honor, I'm scared for my life.
I understand, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And-
Let me ask you this. What else do you want me to do?
I was talking, he has a sister, and she told me she's done some research. There's something called Baker Act.
Well, I can't do that.
Who can?
Well, you can do it, but it would require you to have contact with them. I cannot Baker Act him today. I cannot do it.
Can you send him to the psych, like a mental hospital?
I cannot send him to a mental hospital. The law does not allow me to do that. I've done what I believe is what I can do under the law for you, sir.
We'll scan it to our queue the same way.
Okay?
You can do
Thank
it
you.
later. We'll have to do it.
Thank you.
And once we don't record it, like wait after that. And so that has nothing to do. Judge, can you let corrections know that the Creole will sign in at 10 a.m.?
Creole's going to be ready at 10 a.m. All right. Thank you. Ms. Charles, if you want to have conversations with everybody after we're done, you're more than welcome to do that, but we'll never get through the day. All right, sir, your name? Your name?
Derek Anderson.
All right, so you're here in 2020 CF 11197AO, aggravated assault with a weapon, domestic violence, and 2020 CF 11098 AO, aggravated battery. Any contact with the alleged victim? Any victim out there for this one?
No, Your Honor.
All right, reviewed the affidavit on the first case, found probable cause, appoint the public defender. On the second case, it's via arrest warrant. I'll appoint the public defender on that case. State any input with regards to release on these two cases?
Yes, Your Honor, and I apologize, I only have one case for
only have
Mr.
one.
Yeah, Your Honor,
Oh, I got 1197 and 1198.
Can you repeat those?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The other case is for somebody else. They were just paper clipped together.
Can you repeat that case number then, please?
11197.
And Your Honor, the state would ask the court to set bond in the amount of $7,500. This request is based on his conviction history, which includes other crimes of violence, and the standard safety conditions for the victim.
All right, any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask that you lower down to the amount attainable to him. He is currently on Social Security and is not employed and would be unable to make bond in that amount.
All right. All right, I'll set his bond at $5,000. No contact with the alleged victim. No return to the scene. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Thank you. What's your name, sir? What happened to Jose Fortuzari? Oh, that's you? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said something else. All right, 2020 CF 11098 AEO. You're here on aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, domestic. Do we have an alleged victim on this case?
We do not, Your Honor.
All right. According to this warrant, your bond is set at no bond with conditions to be set at initial appearance. Any input from the state?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would ask for a bond of $7,500 and the standard safety conditions for the victim and the community.
All right, any input from the defense?
We'd be asking to set a bond lower, Your Honor. He is employed full-time, so that he can post that bond.
All right, looks like you just got out of DOC for ag assault with a weapon. I'll set his bond at $7,500. No contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Got 2 open warrants in Miami-Dade as well, and a warrant out of Pennsylvania. Feel free to turn yourself in on those warrants, okay, sir? All right, thank you.
I did on this.
Okay, yeah, I'm just letting you know you got 2 in Miami and looks like 1 in Pennsylvania. I don't know what they're for. I'm just letting you know. Thank you.
Defender is appointed on this case.
Yes. All right, sir, your name? What happened to Willis Gilbert?
He's in the hospital, Your Honor.
All right, we'll roll to tomorrow.
Reset within 24 hours.
Reset within 24 hours. All right, Mr. Joseph, 2020 CF 11190AO, aggravated assault with a firearm, 1 count of battery, domestic violence. Ma'am, your name?
Conica Hewings.
I'm sorry?
Conica Hewings.
Ma'am, is there anything that you want to tell me about this situation? Anything you think I should consider?
No.
All right, State, do you have any questions for her?
Yes. Ms. Hewing. Ms. Hewing, how long have you been in a relationship with Mr. Joseph?
Almost 2 years.
Do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
We'll be fine. We have a child together, so we're going to have communication.
Yes, ma'am. But outside of, is there a third party that can facilitate contact with the child?
I think we'll be okay. He's just going to go to another dwelling. I'll be in one dwelling. I think we should be okay.
Okay. And over the course of your relationship, have there been other instances of violence, whether or not it's been reported?
No.
Do you have any concerns for the safety of your child?
No.
Do you have any concerns for your child witnessing violence between your child's parents?
No, he isn't here. He's in Miami.
Okay. And also, if this were to happen again, and you felt threatened or you felt the safety of your child was threatened, would you call law enforcement?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, any questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any input from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would recommend to the court a bond of $3,500 as to count 1 and a bond of $500 as to count 2. The state would ask for a no weapons or firearms order and the standard safety conditions. The state would recommend no contact at this time.
All right, any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense would ask for no hostile contact, as they indicated they have a child together, and she would feel comfortable calling the police or law enforcement if another situation were to occur.
All right, I'll set count 1 at 5,000, count 2 at 100. No hostile contact with the alleged victim. No hostile contact means no physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. And you guys have a 7-month-old in contact and
No, 11.
11
Months.
years or months?
Months.
Months, okay. That contact's going to be limited to the child care, any child care issues with that child. Do not possess any guns, knives, weapons, or anything of that nature. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, can you repeat what bond on count 2 was?
100.
And Your Honor, that included a separate residence?
I'll maintain separate residence. Thank you.
You said the bond is 35 or
5,000.
5,000. Okay, no, you're okay.
That was just what you read.
Okay, and then you said no hostile contact in regarding to the child only.
Yeah, contact is with regard to child care.
Okay, thank you.
All right, your name?
Joel Lingo.
2020 CF 10940AO, battery by strangulation, domestic, and one kind of assault via arrest warrant. According to this warrant, your bond is set at no bond on each count. With conditions, no contact with the victim, even from the jail, maintain separate residence, and no return to be set at initial appearance. Any contact with the alleged victim?
No, Your
No.
Honor.
Any input from the state?
The state would recommend a bond as to count 1 at $5,000, count 2 at $100, and request the standard safety conditions, Your Honor.
All right, any input from the defense?
Okay. Your Honor, we would ask that the bond be lowered to an amount attainable to the defendant, preferably around $2,000. Currently is not working at the moment.
All right, I'll set count 1 at 2,500, count 2 at 100. No contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons.
Your Honor, can we ask for a one-time return to the residence with law enforcement to retrieve personal belongings?
No.
You can return. Do you need that, yes or no?
No, because where the incident happened at was where I live. Well,
Your Honor, I believe you only ordered maintain a separate residence.
I think I said no return to the scene.
There's no return to the scene, and I don't believe that the alleged victim lives in the same.
All right, you can return once with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. If they determine that the victim does not live there, then you can stay.
no, it's my home. She doesn't live with me.
Understand?
Okay.
Your name, ma'am?
Leah Palian.
2020 CF 11199AO. You're here on one count of aggravated battery and tampering with a witness to hinder communication to a law enforcement officer. Any contact with the alleged victim?
No.
There's no victim present, Your Honor.
All right. Any input from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on the fact that there has been a prior incident, while it's not a conviction, it was an arrest with the same victim, same charges, the state would ask the court to set bond at $5,000 as to count 1, $150 as to count 2, and the standard safety conditions to be ordered.
All right. Any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense would ask for release on pretrial release, as she does qualify. She is a student and not working, so she would be unable to post a bond. And then we would ask for a one-time return to the residence to retrieve personal belongings with law enforcement.
All right, I'll set your bond at $5,000 on count 1 or pretrial release, whichever you want. $150 on count 2 or pretrial release, whichever you want. No contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. You can return once with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings, okay? And then your name in the back. All right, so it looks like you got an open case of violation of a domestic injunction, 5 counts in 2020 MM 4432 AO. You're here today in 2020 CF 11147 on 1 count of aggravated stalking after an injunction, followed by 6 counts of violation of a domestic violence injunction. According to this warrant, your bond is set at $5,000 on count 1 and $1,000 on each additional count. I'll set count 1 at $7,500 and each additional count at $150. There'll also be no contact with the alleged victim. Abide by any injunctions. In case that you're out on bond, I'll revoke your release. In that case, let the judge assigning that case determine what a reasonable bond is for you, okay? Your name, sir?
Absam Farouk.
What happened to LaShawn Evans?
Medical, Your Honor.
All right, we'll roll to tomorrow. All right, Mr. Farouk, 2020 MN 6735 AO, battery, domestic violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point to public defender. Any contact with the alleged victim? Farouk?
Yes.
Hold on. No?
Your Honor, we do have a victim.
Oh, okay. Is she the one running around with the child out there?
I believe so.
Yeah. So Creole should be calling in any minute now, right?
10 o'clock. Oh, yeah.
So they call you or they gotta call this
They
thing?
call that to go back.
It's gonna be a battery back there? Okay, all right. I need evidence back. All right, ma'am, your name?
Hi,
I'm sorry?
my name is Mahnur.
Your Honor, if the court would instruct her to keep her mask up because we have other victims coming in.
All right, ma'am, if you could do me a favor and keep the mask on and just keep the microphone real close.
Okay. Don't touch it, okay?
All right, and then your name again?
Mahnur.
All right, ma'am, is there anything that you want to tell me about this case?
I've been
Your Honor, may the state query.
Sure.
that mic.
Ma'am, is Mr. Farouk your husband?
Yes, can you speak again?
You afraid of?
I can't hear you.
Is Mr. Farouk your husband?
Yes, yes.
Do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Can you speak again?
Do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
You want to roll it to the end and give the child some time?
Speak again. He's just not leaving this mic. I'm sorry for this.
Ma'am, we're going to come back to your case
Okay.
so that you can attend to your child.
All right, ma'am, your name? Your name?
LaShawn Evans.
All right. What happened to Michelle Garcia? Okay, Evan. What? Oh, I'm sorry. We brought
This is
Evan
Evan?
back. I'm
Okay.
sorry. There we go. All right. 2020 MM 6748AO, battery, dating violence, assault, dating violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause. Point the public defender. Any contact with the alleged victim in this case?
No, Your Honor, we don't have a victim present
Any
today.
input from the state?
The state would recommend a bond of $500 as to count one, $100 as to count two, and ask for the standard safety conditions for the community and the victim, Your Honor.
All right. Any input from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Does she want PTR or the bond? Are we giving PTR with no victims? That seems to change out here.
Your Honor, the state would argue against it, though the judges have
Okay.
varied on that.
Thank you.
She would like pretrial release now.
All right. We'll give you pretrial release or on each count. No contact with the alleged victim. No return to the scene. Maintain separate residence. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Do you understand? Ma'am?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. What's your name?
Your Honor, if we can have for Ms. Evans a one-time return with law enforcement and have them determine whether the alleged
You
victim.
can return
is-
one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings.
Go to
What happened to Michelle Garcia?
Michelle Garcia is medical, and also Mitchell Moravius is medical.
Okay, all right, we'll roll those two.
Your Honor, we do have a victim present for Garcia, though.
Okay, ma'am? Hello? Let's get her back in.
Who you want back in?
Garcia.
No, we're getting the alleged victim. I bet she's walking out the door. She's like, I'm out of here.
Is Garcia? Garcia. You have the victim for Garcia. We want the victim for Garcia.
Charles, you gonna be out here tomorrow?
Unsure, Your Honor.
Okay. Do we have a victim for Garcia coming back?
He's here.
All right, sir, your name? Your name, sir?
Garcia Vicente?
All right, and you are the alleged victim in the case with Michelle Garcia?
No, that's my sister.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm not the victim. This is my
Oh.
sister. I'm just here for court.
What's your relationship to the case?
To the case? Well, nothing. I'm just here because she's my sister. So.
Okay. All right, her case has been rolled to tomorrow. She's unable to make it to court today for medical reasons. So if you want to be here, you can come back tomorrow morning at the same time.
So she's still in here?
Yes.
And what was the problem?
We're not allowed to tell you. It's a violation of HIPAA if we start stating what everybody's medical reasons are.
All right, no problem.
All right.
And I apologize, Your Honor, they had him listed as a victim.
All right. So then you're Mr. Mejia? All right. You're here in 2020 MM 6750AO, one kind of battery domestic violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point to public defender, any contact state?
No, Your Honor.
Any
We don't have
input?
a victim present. Yes, Your Honor. The state would recommend a bond of $500 and ask for the standard conditions for safety of the victim.
Any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, defense would be asking for pretrial release. And based on the risk assessment result, his
All right.
risk is low. So we'd be asking for pretrial release.
All right, we'll give him pretrial release, no contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons, okay?
And if we can have a one-time return to the scene,
You
to the
can return
residence.
one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. Your name?
Eric Moore.
What happened to Tatiana Mojica Villas?
Mental health, Your Honor?
All right. We'll roll her. All right, 2020 MM 456AA, battery domestic, review the affidavit, found probable cause, point to public defender. Any contact with the alleged victim?
No, Your Honor.
Not you.
We don't have the victim present, Your Honor.
All right, any input from the state?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would recommend a bond of $500 and the standard safety conditions for the victim, Your Honor.
Any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, we would be asking for pretrial release. The defendant is currently unemployed and unable to post a bond.
All right, we'll give him a pretrial release, no contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene. Maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons.
And if we can ask for a one-time return to the scene with law enforcement.
You can return once with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve his belongings.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, your name?
Emilia Morales?
2020 MM 6740AO, one count of battery, domestic violence, reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point to the public defender. Your name?
John Chandler.
All right, sir, is there anything that you want to tell me with regards to conditions of her release?
I don't want any contact restrictions at all.
Do you guys live together?
Yeah.
All right, State, do you have any questions for him?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any questions?
No.
State, any input?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would ask the court to set bond at $500 and to order the standard safety conditions, including no contact with the victim and maintain separate residence.
Any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, defense will be asking for pretrial release as she is a student and currently unemployed, and then also no hostile contact as they live together.
Sir, she can be released through a program called pretrial release as opposed to posting a bond. Does that make a difference to you how she gets out of jail?
I mean, I don't really have the money to put $500 down right now. So, I mean, whatever is like easier.
All right, I'll give her pretrial release, no contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons.
And if we could have a one-time
Yo,
return
but wait,
with law
like, are we not allowed to contact each other?
I thought you said you didn't want to have contact with her.
No, I want to have contact with her. I said no contact restrictions.
Okay, we did not.
Okay, so no, when you say no contact restrictions to us, that means restrictions that say no contact.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, I want to have contact. I want to have contact with her. That's my fault.
Okay, all right. Are you in fear for your safety?
No.
Has
not at
anything
all.
like this ever happened again?
No.
State, do you have any questions regarding that?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, would you be comfortable calling law enforcement if another situation were to occur?
Yeah, of course.
All right, we'll order no hostile contact. And she can return, and they can, do you guys live together?
Yeah.
Do you want her to live with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So delete everything
Yeah.
except for the.
Delete everything, but no hostile contact, no guns, knives, or weapons. All right. Thank you. Your name, sir? Your name?
Wadi Naji.
2020 MM 6745AO, one count of battery, domestic violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point to public defender. Any contact with the alleged victim?
We do not have a victim present today.
Any input from the state?
The state would ask the court to set bond in the amount of $750. This request is based on prior arrests that involve neglect of a child.
I see him. We have somebody in the box.
Oh,
Good morning, Your Honor.
And your name?
Michael Mueller.
Your Honor, this is not the listed victim
Yeah.
for Mr. Najee.
No.
What's your
Oh, I'm sorry,
relationship
it's
to
for
the
next
case?
person. I'm sorry.
sir.
Oh,
Your Honor, I think he's here for the next person.
okay. All right. All right, anything else?
And the state would ask for standard safety conditions, Your Honor.
Defense? Anything from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense would be asking for pretrial release, currently unable to post a bond as he is unemployed.
All right, he's got prior arrests for domestic-related incidents. I'll set his bond at 500. No contact, no return, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons.
And if we could have a one-time return with law enforcement to collect
You
belongings.
can return one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your belongings. All right, name your name.
Alexandra.
All right. 2020 MM 6747AO, one count of battery, domestic violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause. Appoint the public defender, and then your name, sir?
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Michael Mueller.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mueller, is there anything that you want to tell me?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. I would like to mention that Alexandra Riesnick is an exceptional citizen. She just got approved to attend Norwich University in Vermont, a graduate program for international relations. I do not feel like I am in danger, and I don't believe there was sufficient evidence to warrant for this to happen. If I could please ask, because we live together and we have a dog together, for a contact with a no hostile contact order. The reason I'm here is because not only do I care for her, but she is such a good person that I'm willing to fail my test that I have to do by noon to make sure she's okay.
All right, State, do you have any questions for him?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any input from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to set bond at $250, and the state will defer to the court as to contact.
All right, any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense would be fine with the bond stated by the state, and then also if we could have a just no hostile contact.
So, do you guys live together?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that with the added stress of the COVID situation, as well as me currently waiting for the vet center in Semoran to contact me for a work study, because I'm just living off my GI Bill. I just feel like that kind of triggered some
Well, the reason why I ask is because I believe that this incident started with her coming home and you being there and her not wanting you to be there. So I just don't want to order a return and live together if that's actually not what both parties want. And that might be a question you might want to talk to your client, because if that is the source of what got us here, I don't want to set us up to fail. What does she want?
She wants contact, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
She wants contact, Your
And
Honor.
return and live together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
And she does qualify for pretrial release, Your
All
Honor.
right. I'll give her does she want pretrial release?
Pretrial release would be fine.
All right, we'll give her pretrial release. No hostile contact. No hostile contact means no verbal abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons, okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you for being here, sir. Yeah?
Your Honor, before this is over, I would like to ask, I don't know if it is possible,
Hey, get a little closer to the microphone for me.
like I mentioned, Your Honor, currently, she works as a waitress and I'm living off the GI Bill. and everything is online. I was wondering if there's any way the bond could be set a little lower.
What do you think the bond is set at?
I believe they asked for 250.
Yeah, I'm letting her out without having to post a bond.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank
You have
you.
a great day.
Uh-huh. Your name?
Sir Marco Sullivan.
All right, 2020 MM 6739AO, one count of battery, domestic violence. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point to public defender. And ma'am, your name?
Martisha Wilson.
Is there anything that you want to tell me with regards to this incident? Anything you think I should know?
I can't hear you.
Is there anything that you think I should know before I set conditions of his release?
No, I'm not pressing charges.
All right, State, do you have any questions for her?
Miss Wilson, do you live with Mr. Sullivan?
Yes, sir.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
How long have you been in a relationship with him?
5 years.
How long?
5 years.
5 years. Over the course of the 5 years, have there been any other instances of violence in the relationship?
No, ma'am. This the first time.
And over the course of your relationship, are you aware that he has been convicted for violent crimes?
Yes.
Does anyone else live with you?
My kids.
And how many children?
1.
Do you have any concerns for your child either witnessing violence between the adults in the home or for your child's safety?
No, ma'am. I'm grown.
And if anything like this were to happen again, would you be comfortable calling law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe that alcohol or any kind of controlled substance may have contributed to Mr. Sullivan's behavior?
No, ma'am.
I have no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, any questions for the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Would you like to have contact with Mr. Sullivan?
Do I want to have contact with him?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And just to reiterate, you are comfortable calling law enforcement if another situation were to occur?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, any input from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the state is going to recommend the court order no contact with the victim based on the facts of the case and also based on Mr. Sullivan's history that has multiple violent crimes convictions, including aggravated battery with a firearm, intending death or bodily harm. The state would recommend a bond of $2,500 in this matter and would recommend the no contact and standard safety conditions.
Any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense would be requesting a $500 bond and no hostile contact with the alleged victim. She has stated that she is not in fear and she is comfortable calling law enforcement should another situation occur.
All right, I'm gonna set his bond at $1,000. I'll order no hostile contact. No hostile contact means no physical abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons, okay? All right, thank you, ma'am. Talk to your lawyer real quick. If she thinks it's a good idea, you can talk to me. Thank you.
15 years ago.
You got $1,000 bond for coming to see us.
That was 15 years ago.
All right. All right.
How much is this bond?
Is this our Creole? Okay. All right. Your name?
Josiah Teacher.
All right. You're out on pretrial release in 2020 MM 5873AO. You're here today in 2020 MM 238AE on a battery. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point to public defender. You're also here in 2020 CT 796AE on a no valid driver's license. Any contact with the alleged victim in this case?
We do not have a victim present. Your
Any
Honor.
input from the state?
The state would recommend a bond of $750 as to 2020 MM0238E and $100 as to 2020 CT 0796E. The state would ask for the standard safety conditions in the domestic case.
All right, any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense would be asking for a $500 bond, which is an amount attainable to the defendant.
So he just got arrested for battery domestic a month ago. And now he's getting arrested again for another battery domestic. All right. I'll set his bond at $750 on the domestic violence, no contact, no return, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. Set his bond at $100 on the no valid driver's license. In the case that he's out on pretrial release, I'll revoke his release in that case, and I'll set a bond of $2,000 on count 1 and $200 on count 2.
$200 count two?
Yep, 2,200.
Welcome to an Econo meeting. You are entering the meeting now.
So this is, what's your name, sir?
Hector Torres.
All right, come on down. You're the last DV before that one. 2020 MM6704AO, battery domestic. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. Any contact from the state?
We do not have a victim present, Your Honor.
All right, any input?
Yes, Your Honor. There has been a prior battery with the same victim, though it's not a conviction, it was merely an arrest. The state would recommend a bond of $750, no contact, and the standard safety conditions, Your Honor.
Any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense will be asking for pretrial release as Mr. Torres Lopez is currently unemployed and a one-time return to the residence to retrieve belongings.
All right, I'll set his bond at $500, no contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. He can return once with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve his belongings. All right, Madam Interpreter, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you and see you. And your name for the
Perfect.
record?
Isabel Rocher, court interpreter, Creole.
And have you been sworn in today?
I have not.
Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear to translate from Creole to English and English to Creole to the best of your abilities, so help you God?
I do.
All right. And if you could interpret everything from this point forward. Sir, your name?
Monsieur Kilongele,
Zigar.
Didor,
Your full
Okay,
name,
madam.
sir. Just get closer to the microphone.
venez tout près micro et puis parlez bien fort et puis pas me tout nom, s'il vous plaît.
Zigar Charles.
Didor Charles.
All right, sir. You are here in case number 2020 CF 11161.
Oui, c'est à monsieur dans le cas 20 CF 11161.
3 counts of sexual battery of a person between the ages of 12 and 18.
Ou il y a 3 cas d'attaque sexuelle sur un monde entre 12 et 16 ans.
And 1 count of lewd and lascivious molestation of a victim between 12 and 15.
Et un cas de molestation lubriquée lascive sur un monde entre 12 et 7 ans.
I reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, and appoint the public defender.
Moi révisé attestation, moi joindre que gain cause coupable et ma bon défenseur public qui pour représenter ou.
State any input with regards to release.
Est-ce que l'État gagne quelque bagage pour dire sur le relâche?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oui, juge.
The state would ask the court to take into consideration the facts that are contained within the affidavit in which the court found probable cause for, and find that the victim in this matter is in a position to know Mr. Charles and identified Mr. Charles as the individual that did commit these acts on her, and asked that the court find. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Effectivement, je veux que les capables de reconnaître M. Charles et les capables de dire que c'est M. Charles vraiment qui t'a fait bagarre la soulée.
And the state would ask the court to find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Charles is the person so identified, and to hold Miss.
Il a demandé pour le juge là, joindre que c'est M. Charles vraiment qui a assez évidence, que il y a une cause probable que c'est M. Charles qui l'a fait, ça y a accusé de faire.
And to hold Mr. Charles at no bond. The state would ask the court not to exercise its discretion with regard to bond at this time.
Et il a demandé pour le juge là, pas et by discrétion li, pour lui pas bailler aucune bond, pour lui pas bailler aucune caution pour M. Charles capable de sortir.
Any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
La défense gagne pour dire.
We would ask that the court uses discretion to set a bond in this amount. The allegations here contained in the police report aren't even in the light most
I'm
favorable.
sorry, Your Honor, the interpreter is having a hard time hearing.
Yes, defense would ask that the court use its discretion to set a bond in this case.
Il a demandé pour mettre en caution, en bond dans le cas ça.
The allegations contained within the police report, even in the light most favorable to the state, does not amount to a
You are
standard.
the only participant.
We lost her. While she's logging back on, I can't find it in the bond schedule, that 794.01158. I assume it's a PBL.
Your Honor, I believe that it is an F1 punishable up to life, but not to exceed. And that is why I made the argument. I too could not find it as a PBL, but I believe it's up to and not to exceed life.
Okay.
Your Honor, the interpreter got kicked out of the system. I just rejoined, sorry.
No problem. All right, you want to continue?
It was in the middle of the defense.
Yes, Your Honor.
The last thing I heard was to please consider giving a bond.
Yes, to please consider setting a bond in this case. The allegations contained within the police report, even in the light most favorable to the state, does not amount to a standard higher than beyond reasonable doubt.
Il a demandé pour mettre un bond dans le cas où, parce que même avec un qui est plus bon pour l'État, il y a aussi bon.
I'll set count 1 at $100,000.
Va mettre première accusation à $100,000.
Count 2 at $150.
Deuxième chef d'accusation à $150.
Count 3 and count 4 at $150.
Chef 3 et 4 à $150.
No contact with the alleged victim or victim's family.
Pas de contact avec victime supposée ou bien famille victime.
No return to the scene.
Pas capable de retourner à la.
Maintain separate residence.
Il y avait une résidence séparée.
No unsupervised contact with anyone under the age of 18.
Pas de contact sans supervision avec n'importe qui monde qui a moins que 18 ans.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, we ask for a one-time return with law enforcement.
Your Honor, the state would argue against that.
Yeah, I don't think he lives there. I thought he was a family friend.
Okay.
And Your Honor, the state would also ask if the court would inquire as to a passport
Okay.
and also ask that there be a no weapons order as well.
Est-ce que je demandais pour juge la demandé pour si vous avez un passeport et si vous dites tout que pas gain aucun examen qui n'a le tribunal là, dans le cas.
What do you want to tell me about his living conditions?
He stated that he was living at the residence. But if you can ask the interpreter too.
Dans le cas là,
He can return once with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve his belongings. As a
vous capable de
condition of
retourner
his
une fois côté où t'es arrêté pour prendre affaire.
As a condition of his release, he'll have to surrender any passport,
Et en condition de relâche ou a besoin d'un passeport
and he cannot possess any guns, knives, or weapons.
et ou pas capable de gagner aucun arme à feu, aucun couteau ou bien aucun arme.
Thank you.
Merci.
All right, what's your name, sir?
Is that the only one for me, Judge?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Bye-bye. What's your name, sir?
Bye.
What is it?
You are the only participant.
What happened to Timothy Colvin?
It's medical.
All right, we'll roll him to tomorrow. All right, Cooks, 2020 CT 5728AO, attached tag not assigned. I'm sorry, that's driving while license suspended, 2020 MM 6746. False reports to a law enforcement officer. And then you also have a Volusia County warrant on possession of a controlled substance. According to that warrant, your bond is set at $2,500 on your new cases. I'll set your bond at $250 on each. I'll appoint the public defender on each. Thank you.
And Your Honor, there is a victim here on the Gilbert case, domestic violence.
Okay. What do we do with Gilbert?
And I don't recall if Mr. Gilbert was
Gilbert's in the hospital.
hospital, okay. The victim, though, is here,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
Can we get her in the box real quick?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and then what's your name, sir?
Nara Patrick, sir.
What happened to Robert Ars?
He's next.
Oh, okay. What's your name?
Nara, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Where's he at?
He's
He's there. He's there, Judge. He's at the bottom, second to last.
Of this?
Yes.
Misdemeanor arraignment.
Big jump. What's your last name?
I'm N-A-A-R, sir.
No. In jail.
Oh, okay. All right, there you are. 2020 MM 561AW, violation of pretrial release condition on domestic violence case, Division 50. Is there an offer state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll enter a not guilty plea. Your next court date will be?
Division 50, pretrial conference, November 2nd at 2:30 p.m., courtroom 7C.
All right.
Sir.
Talk to your lawyer real quick. And we want to bring her in real quick so I can just explain. Gilbert was in the hospital.
Yes.
All right, ma'am, the defendant in your case is in the hospital and is unable to make it today. I don't know if this individual will be able to make it tomorrow or not. So you have a few options. One option is if there's anything that you want to tell me now, you can tell me now, and then when we do get him to come to court, I can consider it. Or you can come back tomorrow and see if he shows up tomorrow.
What should I tell you?
Oh, I mean, I can't tell you what to tell me. If you want to tell me anything about the situation, anything that I should consider in determining his release.
Well, I know he has other charges that's pending, but I want to be done with this whole case. This is my daughter's dad, and this is a case that happened back in October. Last year. Since then, we've been fine. So, I just would like to consider another route besides jail for all cases. for
Well,
all-
we're gonna set some kind of release on the new case. I can't tell you about the other case.
Your Honor, she is not the victim in the new case.
Okay,
That's a different victim. She's in 2020 CF 5666.
okay. All right, is there anything else that you wanna tell me?
I'm here for the 2020 case, correct?
You are the
one you
only
just
party-
stated?
Say that again?
I'm not here for the new case. I'm here for the.
Right.
Okay, I just want to make sure. No, I just would like to not see him here, but
Okay.
out. He has kids, and since then he's been fine. So
Okay. All right, thank you.
thank you.
All right, sorry about the wait.
Okay.
All right, your name?
Robert Arce.
All right, 2020 MM 6689 AO, one count of assault, PD, arraignment. Do we have an offer?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll enter a not guilty plea. You're in division.
85, I believe it is.
Division 85, pretrial conference, October 26th at 9:00 a.m., courtroom 4A.
All right, thank you. All right, and then your name?
Talisha McMiller Simmons.
All right, 2020 MM 207 AE. You're here for arraignment on a trespass on property other than a structure. State, do we have an offer?
For Ms. McMiller Simmons, I
Yes.
apologize, I stepped to the window. Yes, Your Honor, the state conveyed an offer on this matter as well as a pending case 2020 MM0189E.
189 AE.
189E, yes, Your Honor.
All right.
And essentially, there are adjudications of guilt, credit time served in both cases, no contact with witnesses. Both cases are the same location, no return to the Walgreens on Kennedy Boulevard. Abide by all trespass warnings. And cost of investigation in 2020 MM 0207 AE is $53.49 payable to Eatonville Police Department. And in 0189E, cost of investigation to Eatonville Police Department is $58.35.
What does she want to do?
Would like to take the offer, Your Honor.
All right. All right, can you raise your right hand for me? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I sure do.
All right, and your name?
Talisha Janelle McMiller Simmons.
All right, you can put your hand down. You heard what the offer was. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
You
I do
accept that
understand.
offer?
Yes, sir.
If you're not a U.S. citizen, you could be deported for this. Do you understand?
Yep.
And if you've ever been convicted of a sexually violent or sexually motivated offense by entering this plea today, it could subject you to involuntary civil confinement. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Guilty or no contest?
No contest.
Accept your no contest plea in each, adjudicate you guilty in each, court costs in each. In the 207 AE, there's also cost of investigation of $53.49 to Eatonville. In the 207, or in the 189 AE, there's $58.35 cost to Eatonville. I'll put you on a payment plan of $10 a month on each. Your first payment is due October 15th and on the 15th of each month thereafter, and credit time served on each. All right? 30 days to appeal.
And Your Honor, can we have the bond deleted on 20 MM 189E as to the paraphernalia?
Did you know process?
It wasn't filed on, but it's showing up on the jail site.
That's fine.
Wait, what happened?
We did not file on that, even though I believe the paraphernalia was for cocaine. So we just didn't file it.
All right. So I guess on the one case, she was arrested on 2 counts, but only filed on 1.
On the 189 AE.
189?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All
Your
right.
Honor, the state is showing 33 days in 207 AE, but the state did not calculate 189 AE.
Yeah, we have the 33 otherwise. What's your name, sir? In the back? Hello? Hi. What's your name?
And then it's not served, you get a chance.
Is he, where is he at on my docket?
He's on misdemeanor playables.
Are we going right into session 2?
Is that what we're doing?
Your Honor, the state is going to need time.
The defense will
Session.
need time as well, Your
All
Honor.
right, hold on. All right, let's sit him down real quick. How much time do you need, State?
At least 20 minutes, Your Honor.
All right, let's do our last DV case, and then I'll give you guys 20 minutes. How much time does the defense need?
30 minutes, Your Honor.
So here's the deal. Then we're just gonna go through lunch, and that's not gonna work. So,
Okay. Well,
I'll give you guys 20 minutes.
Okay.
Let's get our victim back for this gentleman, Mr. Farouk.
Hi.
What's your name, sir?
Absam Farouk.
All right, ma'am, is there anything that you wanted to tell me?
Yeah.
What did you want to tell me?
Orange County is 4736 South Rio Grande Avenue, 32. I don't remember the code. It's the exact address.
Well, let me ask you, State, do you have any questions for her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions? No.
I'm sorry?
What? You have any questions? You said-
First, would you put your mask up, please?
Okay.
And yes, I do have questions. How long have you been married to Mr. Farouk?
It's been 4 years.
And over the course of those 4 years, has there ever been violence in the relationship?
Yeah, it's been.
Do you want to have contact with Mr. Farouk while this case is pending?
No, I'm just actually here to drop the charges against my husband that I just reported yesterday. I just want to drop the charges against him because, I have a little baby with me and he's 2 years old and he provides everything for him. So that's why I'm here to drop everything charges against him.
And so are you afraid of Mr. Farouk?
Yeah, sometimes I get afraid, but as long as he is not trying to hurt me, I'm not afraid of him.
Do you believe that alcohol or any kind of controlled substance contributed to his behavior?
Sometimes he do alcohols.
Do you believe that that contributed to his behavior?
I think so, but I don't believe so. But I think so sometimes they do.
Okay. And one final question. Do you work?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Any questions for the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Would you be comfortable calling the police if another situation were to occur?
Yes.
Okay. And would you like to have contact with Mr. Farouk?
Yeah, because I'm dropping all those, charges that I did yesterday. If he's gonna done something wrong with me, I'll call to police again.
Okay, thank you.
All right, State, any input?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, based on the hesitancy of the victim, as well as the equivocation that she is afraid sometimes and she doesn't want him to hurt her, and that there has been past violence, the state is going to recommend to the court no contact at this time, maintain separate residence, bond in the amount of $500, and the standard safety conditions beyond the no contact and separate residence.
Yes, Your Honor, defense would be asking for a pretrial release or alternatively a bond in the amount of $250 and no hostile contact with the alleged victim here. They do have a small child together that they care for.
Does he want the bond or a $500 bond or PTR? All right, we'll give him the option, no hostile contact with the alleged victim. No hostile contact means no physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. Maintain separate residence, but you can return once with the assistance of law enforcement. Do not return to the scene, okay?
And Your Honor, he would like to do the pretrial release.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you for being here, ma'am.
Okay, the condition.
And the standard no weapons,
hostile
Your Honor.
contact, do not return, and no weapons or firearms. Correct?
Maintain separate residence,
Okay, my.
and he can return once.
And Your Honor, the standard no weapons.
Yes.
Thank you.
But it's still no hostile.
Right. All right, we'll see you guys back at 11:08. He's running away. Running away. All right. Michael Bridges, 20 CF 7375 AO.
And Your Honor, I'm just trying to find if it's add-on or,
That was on the regular, non-add-on.
okay, a notice of non-filing was filed on September 15th.
All right, that'll be granted. Marquand Clay, 20 CF 8747.
A notice of non-filing on September 11th.
All right, that'll be granted. Vishal Prasad, 20 CF 9388 AO.
A notice of non-filing on September 15th.
All right, that'll be granted. Alexander Lopez.
A notice of non-filing on September 15th.
That'll be granted. And then I have Deontay Jackson, 20 CF 8866 AO. And then he
And
also has 20
information was filed on September 15th. Filing ID is 113409698.
All right, and then that'll be denied. And then same defendant, 2020 CF 9773 AO.
A notice of non-filing on September 15th.
All right, that'll be granted. And then Huler Moran,
And on this one, Your Honor, I have to have just one moment on this one. The information was filed this morning. And I don't have the documentation yet, 8855.
all right, well, I'll hold it to the end. You're gonna have about 30 minutes to figure it out.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's bring in the warm bodies.
That's the one that you did, that's the corrected one, so let me give you what you did. You remember what it is?
2000 and,
It's 2000, no.
but I didn't write anything about it. Oh, no. He's placed on pretrial release, I scratched that out. He's placed on pretrial release, and I just put revoked conditions in separate order.
Okay, and then,
So just do the same thing?
yep.
Or do I do it right here? Bond amount, 2,000. Haha. Tear this up.
Yes.
All right, so your name?
Ashton Cacho.
What is it?
Ashton Richard
What
Cacho.
happened to Josin Fillion? Or maybe I'm in the wrong order. What's your last name?
Cacho.
With a C?
Pleables. Yes, Your Honor, CACHO, misdemeanor pleables. And the state does not have an offer to convey in this matter.
I have no idea who he is.
What's his last name again?
Cacho. Is he here for arraignment?
Misdemeanor pleables.
Misdemeanor pleables. I got misdemeanor non-pleable. All right. So you are out on bond in 20 MM 6706 AO, trespass and dwelling, you're out on pretrial release on that case. You're here today in 20 MM 6706 AO, resisting officer without violence, reviewed that affidavit, found probable cause, appoint the public defender. I'll set your bond at $500 on that case. On the case that you're out on pretrial release, state, have you filed on that case?
Your Honor, I did not have a chance to look at that. I will look at it.
Does anyone know if the state's filed on that case?
No, Your Honor, they have not yet
All
filed.
right, I'll take no action on that case. Thank you. All right, ma'am, your name? What happened to Maya Roper?
Mental health, Your Honor.
All right, we'll roll Roper to tomorrow. Saucier, you're out on bond 20 MM 6738 AO, or you're in diversion on petty theft. You're here today in 20 MM 6738 AO, resisting a merchant and petty theft retail. Reviewed that affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. Set your bond at $500 on count 1 and $100 on count 2. I'll take no action on the case that you're out in diversion. Thank you. Your name, sir? Your name?
Tremaine Skinner.
All right, 2020 MM 6742 AO, trespass on property after warning. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point to the public defender, and I'll stay your bond at $500. Your name, sir, in the back?
I say something.
All right. What happened to Lauren Stewart?
ROR.
I'm not gonna give you ROR. You got, you probably know better than me. What was it, about 50 priors?
And
No, I don't have any priors of a trespass.
Your Honor,
Skinner,
Stewart
right?
bonded.
Right.
Huh?
Stewart bonded.
Okay. Skinner, 34, 44, 55, 62 priors.
I don't even have a trespassing that this was gave. I never got a trespass for this.
Okay.
They're lying on. I don't have a trespass.
I mean, you have convictions for trespass.
Where?
Well, I don't know the details of it. But.
That wasn't the same property. If it is, I don't have a trespass at this property.
So now I went from no trespass to just no trespass at this property. All right, thank you.
I don't have a trespass paper. Why you grabbing me?
And Your Honor, was that Mr. Tomlinson?
That was Skinner.
Skinner, okay.
All right, and you said Stewart bonded.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you are Tomlinson, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're here in 2020 MM 6734 AO on a petty theft retail. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point to public defender, and I'll stay your bond at $250. Thank you. Your name, sir, in the back? What happened to James Hoover? Open container.
He's on city and county.
Yeah, so what's this gentleman?
Joseph Filion.
Oh, so he's here now. Okay. Got it. Keeping me on my toes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Joseph Filion, that's you? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. You're out on bond on a criminal mischief charge in 20 MM 5756 AO. You're here today in 2020 MM, I'm sorry, you're out on bond on 2020 CF 7823 AO, criminal mischief greater than or equal to 1,000. You're here today in 2020 MM 5756 AO, petty theft, trespass, and resisting a merchant via arrest warrant. According to this warrant, your bond is set at $2,500 on count 1, 100 on 2, and 100 on 3. I'll reduce count 1 to 1,000. Stay the other bonds. State, do we know what the status is of the case that he's out on bond? Anyone know?
I will find out. That's one of the things I cut out when I was doing the 20 minutes.
Hold on.
They didn't file.
All right, I'll
It
take
has
no
not been
action on that
filed.
case. All right, he's out of here. Thank you. Ma'am, your name?
Joy Samuel, Your Honor.
What happened to Oppenheimer Ramos?
He's mental health, Your Honor.
All right, we'll roll to tomorrow. Joy Samuel, that's you?
That's me, Your Honor, yes.
All All right, you're here in 19 MM 945 AW on failure to appear on a petty theft charge. According to this case, your bond is set at $500. You failed to appear for pretrial conference on September 14th of this year, okay?
Yeah, can I say something though,
Hold
Your
on
Honor?
1 second.
Oh.
Do you have the PD, public defender appointed already? Ms. Samuel?
No.
All right.
Okay.
Ms. Samuel, do you have a lawyer appointed on this case?
No, I do not, Your
Okay.
Honor. This case
Put
already
your
been
mask on,
decided.
Please put your mask on.
Sorry.
Go on.
I said I already came to court on this case, and they sent it to the fact that I'd have to do the community service, the diversion program.
Okay.
So I did serve and appear in court, and then I believe it was on the 11th or something like that, I got the notice saying that I was going to be in court, and I frantically started trying to call the judge. I spoke to his personal secretary
Who is
and
that?
sent
Who was the
emails.
judge?
Judge, it was Eric Dubois, because I've actually heard his voice and left him like 4 voicemails because my son was having outpatient surgery that day, and I wouldn't have been able to appear. And
All
I
right.
never thought it would come to this, and I just like to be released on my own recognizance
All right,
and be
go
able to
ahead,
satisfy
ROR
this
you.
since I've already. Thank you, Your Honor, so much.
Your Honor, you're appointing the public defender?
No.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Your name, sir?
James Hoover.
Ryan Vassell?
He's medical, Your Honor.
All right. We'll roll Vassell.
Go ahead.
How about Deborah Bees? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. This is James Hoover?
Yes.
Gotcha. Jumping back. Keep you on your toes. Payback, I can tell. It's retribution. All right, Mr. Hoover.
Yes, sir.
All right, 20 MO 920AO, open container. Review the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. ROR, you state you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. It's adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served. Court costs.
You want to take the ROR or take the credit time served and be done with it?
If you'd like to take the plea, Your Honor. If you'd like to take the offer, Your Honor.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Other one. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, you put it down. Your name?
James A. Hoover.
All right, you understand by resolving this case today, we're not going to have a trial?
Sir.
No trial by resolving it today.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
That's all right. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you could be deported for this. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And if you've ever been treated for, or I'm sorry, have you ever been convicted of a sexually violent or sexually motivated offense?
No, sir.
All right, but if you have, by entering this plea today, it could subject you to involuntary civil confinement. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Guilty or no contest?
No contest, sir.
Accept your no contest plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days of credit for 2 days. I'll waive your costs since you spent 2 days in jail for the open container. 30 days to appeal. Good luck.
Yes, sir.
All right, your name, ma'am?
Yes, Deborah Bess.
All right, what happened to Brian Rock?
Brian Watt.
Was behavior.
His behavior, Your Honor.
All right, we'll roll to tomorrow. All right, Deborah Bess, you are here in. You're out on bond on a driving on a DUI in 2020 CT 965 AW. You're here today in 2020 CF 11187 AO on a burglary of joint and a criminal mischief. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender, and I'll set your bond at $3,500 on count 1, $100 on count 2. I'm sorry, yeah, 100 on count 2. What's the status of the case, the DUI case?
Your Honor, I'm looking now.
Does it have a court date coming up?
And it was 20 CT 965.
965 AW.
I'm showing that case number, someone else's name. I have to look it up by her name.
All right. I'll take no action on it. Thank you.
What happened?
Your name, sir? All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CF 10307AO, one count of lewd or lascivious battery, 4 counts, I'm sorry, 1 count of lewd or lascivious molestation with a victim under 12, 1 count of lewd or lascivious conduct by a person over 17, 1 count of lewd and lascivious exhibition by a person over 17, and 1 count of transmitting or harmful material to a minor through an electronic device via arrest warrant. According to this warrant, your bond is set at no bond as to each count and $1,000 on count 5. With no conditions, I'll appoint the public defender. State any input with regards to release.
Yes, Your Honor. Though I know that probable cause has previously been found, I'm trying to ascertain that the victim was under 12, Your Honor.
Well, I have, she's
Your
now
Honor, I'm
15.
showing that the victim was 15 years of
Yeah.
age.
I'm print page. Correct, something.
And the
The
state
second
would, in this matter, recommend a bond of, count 2, a bond of $50,000. Counts 1, 3, 4, and 5, the state would recommend subsidiary bonds.
All right, I'm
And
sorry,
the
what was the,
standard
what was the
conditions.
primary bond?
$50,000
Okay,
as
50.
to count 2.
All right. Any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense would be asking to lower to a bond to $1,000 bond on each count, as he is currently unemployed at the moment, and $50,000 bond is not within his financial reach.
All right.
And Your Honor, the
So has he
state,
been arrested for the same thing in the past? Lewd and lascivious behavior with a victim between the ages of 12 to 16?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. All right, I'll set count 1 at $150, count 2 at $35,000, count 3 at $150, count 4 at $150, count 5 at $150. No contact with the alleged victim or the victim's family, no returns, maintain separate residence, do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons, and no unsupervised contact with anyone under the age of 18. Do you understand? All right, thank
And
you.
Your Honor, if there's a passport, the state would ask that he surrender his passport.
Is there anything, any reason to? He's on probation as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh,
He
I did not see the.
Is there a hold for that?
Yes, he currently has a hold.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you.
And Your Honor, may I approach with the,
Usually you don't, usually somebody else brings it up. No, don't worry.
Austin Donnelly.
Yep. Austin Donnelly bonded. How about Samantha Fox? Refused. All right, we'll roll.
Also bonded.
All right, we'll roll Fox. Genoa bonded. All right. All right, sir, your name?
Deontay Holmes, sir.
All right, you're out on bond in 2020 CF 8251AO, aggravated assault with a firearm, discharging a firearm in public. You're here today in 2020 CF 11175AO, possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted felon. Reviewed that affidavit, found probable cause, appoint the public defender. I'll stay your bond at $5,000. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. And do we know what the status is of the case that he's out on bond?
Has not been filed on.
All right, I'll take no action on that case. Your name?
Mary Ann Jackson.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You're here in 20 CF 11159AO, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. And you're also here in 2020 CT 5730AO on a DUI charge. Reviewed those affidavits, found probable cause, appoint the public defender on both of those cases, And I'll set your bond on the possession of cocaine at 1,000 on count 1, 100 on 2, 100 on 3, and on the DUI, I'll set it at 100 as well. Thank you. Your name, sir? All right. All right, sir, you're here in 19 CF 13111 AO on a failure to appear on a possession of alprazolam. According to this, you failed to appear for pretrial conference on March 10th of this year. Your bond is set at no bond on that. Do you have a lawyer?
Previously appointed.
All right, the PD's previously been appointed to represent you, okay?
Okay.
Bond stayed at 9.
Yep. Thank you.
What was the pre-trial conference date? I'm sorry. Was there a pre-trial conference date given? Oh, okay.
Your name, sir? Your name, sir?
Henry Johnson.
Henry Johnson?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're out on bond in 2020 CF 908 AO on a petty theft for 2 priors. You're here today in 2020 CF 10646 AO dealing in stolen property, trafficking, receiving money from a pawnbroker through false verification. This is via arrest warrant. According to this warrant, your bond is set at $2,500 on each count. I'll stay count 1. I'll reduce count 2 to $150. And I'll take no action on the, no,
He's
no,
set
this
for
actually
pretrial
occurred after that,
conference.
didn't it?
Yes,
He's
sir.
set
Yeah,
for
what's the,
pretrial conference.
what's the status of that case?
He's set for pretrial conference November 10th.
All right, I'll revoke your release in that case. Let the judge assign to that case determine what a reasonable bond is for you.
I don't understand what he's saying.
Sir, your name?
Okay, so I don't have a bond.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CF 11094 AO, 1 count of intimidation, sending written threats to commit bodily injury, and 1 count of violation of a repeat of violence injunction via arrest warrant. According to this warrant, your bond is set at no bond as to each. I'll appoint the public defender. State any input with regards to release.
The state would recommend a bond of $5,000 as to count 1 and $500 as to count 2.
All right, any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense would be asking for a pre-trial release.
It just goes in our case.
Without the alleged victim here on this one, I'm not inclined to give him the PTR. He does have limited history. I'll set count 1 at 3,500, count 2 at 150. No contact with the alleged victim. Do not possess any guns, knives, or weapons. You understand, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, your name?
Jamal Lovett.
All right, 2020 CF 11189 AO, possession of MDMA ecstasy. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. I'll set his bond at 500 or PTR.
Any conditions, Your Honor?
Don't do drugs. Illegal drugs. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to make a decision right now.
Okay, and it was 500 or?
500 or PTR.
Yeah, I want to know.
I cut it in half or gave him PTR.
What do I need to do?
What's your name, sir?
Michael News.
All right. All right, come on down for me. 2020 CF 11178, destruction of evidence, trespass on property after warning, possession of drug paraphernalia. Reviewed the affidavit, found probable cause, point the public defender. I'll stay your bonds at 1,100 on each. Does he have a hold for probation or no? Michael Mayo. You on probation?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, Jonathan Ricardo is mental health.
All right. MH for Mercado. How about Moy?
He's also mental health.
Okay. We'll roll those. This brings us to Perkins. Is that you, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right. So it looks like your bail bonds that came off your bond on a couple of cases.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, it looks like, where's the case? So 2020 CF 677 AO, burglary of an occupied structure, they came off your bond on that one. 2020 CF 677, that's the same one, AO. Oh, that's just each count they sent me on. So it looks like 5,000 on count 1, 100 on count 2, 100 on count 3, 100 on count 4, which was a petty theft. All right, so review that affidavit, found probable cause. Your bonds are stayed at 5,100, 100, 100. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Elliot Preston refused.
Preston refused. We'll roll. Principe. All right, you doing all right? Your name, sir?
Good state.
All right. All right, sir. You're here today. Looks like you're on probation, but you're also out on bond on providing false information to a law enforcement officer, 2020 MM 1972 out of Osceola County. You're also here on a failure to appear on 2 written promises, 2020 CF 39AO out of Osceola County. You're here today in 20 CF 11200 AO, trafficking in heroin between 4 and 30 kilograms. I'm sorry, between 4 grams but under 30 kilograms. Possession of heroin with intent to sell, manufacture, possession of meth, possession of controlled substance, possession of cocaine, possession of drug equipment. Review that affidavit, found probable cause, appoint the public defender. You're also here on a Seminole County violation of probation case. On that one, your bond is set at no bond. On the new case, I'll state count 1 at 100,000. I'll reduce count 2 to 150, count 3 to 150, count 4 to 150, count 5 to 150, count 6 to 150, count 7 to 150, and I'll revoke your release in your Osceola County cases for you. Thank you. Sir, your name? All right. All right, sir. So you got a bunch of stuff going on here. And we're going to try and lump them all together because they all seem to be related. 2020 CF 11172AO, burglary of conveyance, criminal mischief, petty theft. I'm going to stay those bonds in that case, appoint the public defender. 20 CF 11171AO, I'll reduce count 1 to 1,000 and stay count 2. 2020 CF 11170AO, reduce count 1 to 1,000, count 2 stay at 100. 2020 CF 11158AO, reduce count 1 to 1,000, stay counts 2 and 3. 2020 CF 11157AO, reduce count 1 to 1,000, stay counts 2 and 3. 2020 CF 11156AO, reduce count 1 to 1,000, stay counts 2 and 3. 2020 CF 11155AO, reduce count 1 to 1,000, stay counts 2 and 3. 2020 CF 11154AO, reduce count 1 to 1,000, stay counts 2 and 3. 2020 CF 11153AO, reduce count 1 to 1,000, stay counts 2 and 3. 2020 CF 11152AO, reduce count 1 to 1,000, stay counts 2 and 3. 2020 CF 11151AO, reduce count 1 to 1,000, stay counts 2 through 4. 2020 CF 11150, reduce count 1 to 1,000, stay counts 2 through 4. And I think that's it. He's not out of bounds, right? Yeah. All right. I'll appoint the public defender on each case, found probable cause on each case.
Can I say anything?
Did you get all that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got it.
We're gonna get you out by lunchtime. Well, here, yeah. All right, sir, your name? Okay. All right, sir, you're out on bond on possession of firearm by a convicted felon, fleeing or attempting to elude, and driving while license suspended, 2020 CF 6724AO. You're also out on bond on a driving while license suspended, 19 CF 7750AO. You're here today in 2020 CF 10498AO, fleeing or attempting to elude, and driving while license suspended as a habitual traffic offender. This is by arrest warrant. According to this, your bond is set at no bond on count 1 and $2,500 on count 2. Appoint the public defender on this case. State any input with regards to release.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would recommend a bond of $2,500 as to count one, and $150 as to count two.
All right, any input from the defense?
That'll be nothing further, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, on the cases that he's out on bond, I'll revoke those releases. Let the judge assign to those, determine what a reasonable bond is. And then on the new case, I'll set count 1 at $2,500 and count 2 at $100. And do not drive as a condition of your release. You understand, sir? All right, thank you. Your name, sir?
Sean Sutton, sir.
All right, 19 CF 14553AO, you're here on for failure to appear, trafficking in a controlled substance, fraudulent use of a credit card, fraudulent use of personal identification, grand theft. I might have gotten that first one wrong, let's see. Now trafficking in counterfeit credit cards. According to this, you failed to appear for a status hearing on August 11th. Your bond is set at no bond on each. All right, thank you. Sir, your name in the back? So Walker? All right. All right, Mr. Walker, you're here in 2020 CF 106100AO on a kidnapping charge via arrest warrant. According to this warrant, your bond is set at no bond with conditions, no contact with the victim or the victim's mother. I'll appoint the public defender to represent your state. Any input with regards to release?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the facts that are contained within the affidavit to issue the arrest warrant, which is a sworn document. And the state would ask the court to see that the defendant is known to the victim in this matter, and the victim so identified him as the person that did transport her from one place to another. The state would ask the court to find proof is evident or presumption is great and hold Mr. Walker at no bond as to the sole count of kidnapping, Your Honor.
All right, any input from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense would argue that in the light most favorable to the state that the presumption of proof, evidence, presumption great is not found here, and asks to set bond in the court's discretion at $2,000.
All right, I reviewed the affidavit. I do find proof evident, presumption great. I am going to set him a bond, though. I'll set his bond at $10,000. No contact with the alleged victim. You want me to just stay at no bond for you, sir? I'll just stay at no bond if that's what you want.
I can't hear him.
Well, obviously you heard me because you responded.
Yeah, because
No. Now you're lying. That's not.
No, I couldn't hear you.
No, trust me. I know you're lying at this point. Okay.
Okay.
I found proof evident, presumption great. I could stay your bond at no bond. I've used my discretion and set your bond at the lower end of the kidnapping.
Okay.
You have a problem with that?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. You heard everything I just said right there. No contact with the alleged victim. No return to the scene. Okay.
Okay. No.
All right. You heard that too. All right. Thank you. Your name, sir?
Darius Washington.
All right, sir. You're out on bond in 19 CF 17318AO on burglary of a conveyance. You're also out on bond in 19 CF 17317AO, burglary of a conveyance, 2 counts. You're here today in 2020 CF 11101AO, burglary of a conveyance via arrest warrant. According to this, your bond is set at $2,500 with conditions: no return to the scene or alleged location is what it says. Appoint the public defender. I'll stay your bonds. State what's the status of the case that he's out on bond.
In 17317, he's set for trial November 9th.
Okay.
And
And 13180's he's got something on November 10th, it looks like. I revoke those bonds, let the judge assign to those cases, determine what a reasonable bond is for you. All right, is that Mr. Wilson in the back?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then, Ms. Charles, yeah, exactly, yep. All right, sir, come on around, because I got a TV on the other side, so I don't know what's better. we'll bring him over here. All right, your name, sir?
My name is Harold Wilson.
Okay. All right, sir, you were here today in 2020 CF 11144 AO.
Harold.
It's the wrong person, sir.
Excuse me?
What's your name?
Harold Wilson.
Harold Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Let's find a Harold Wilson. What do you think you're here for, Mr. Wilson?
I don't know. I'm for job. I'm from Miami. I'm from Miami.
Did you get arrested yesterday?
No, sir.
Yeah, I think we brought you to the wrong place.
I've been in the hospital. I just got an operation, heart operation.
Okay. Well, let's get you out of here so that you can recover from that, all right?
Sir,
We did not, it's an accident that we brought you here. So we're gonna send you back. Just keep recovering, okay?
You're the wrong person.
yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Sorry about that. I don't remember that. See if it's over there.
My phone says it's gonna die in 15 minutes. We gotta finish in 15 minutes.
We gotta recall the case.
Put it on super saver mode. Maybe?
No, he just wants to be done in 15.
I can just tell by looking at these things. All right, so your name?
James Wooten.
What happened to Austin Wynn?
Give it to you, John.
All right, we'll roll him, and then I'm saving Wilson, right? We're gonna get Wilson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and then you're James Wooten, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, you're out on bond on 2020 CF 2606, driving while license suspended out of Osceola County. You're also out on bond on a DUI 20 CT 2267 out of Osceola County. You're here today in 2020 CF 11179 AO on one count of driving while license suspended or revoked as a habitual traffic offender. Reviewed that affidavit, found probable cause. Appoint the public defender, and I'll set your bond at $1,000 on that. And looks like you're out on bond out of Brevard County, so they might end up revoking your bond because of this. On the two new cases that you just got out of Osceola County, I'll take no action on those, okay? All right, ma'am, your name? Yeah. All right, ma'am, 18 CF 4772 AO on a violation of drug probation. According to this warrant, your bond is set at no bond. I'll appoint the public defender if they haven't already been appointed, okay?
And Your Honor, this was,
This is Brianna Bellevue.
Which section is she in? I don't see her here.
I don't see her either.
Oh, she's on.
She's on a felony warrant.
Felony warrant?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're keeping everybody on their toes today.
Okay.
Keeps your mind sharp. All right, thank you, ma'am.
I think that's the one he puts in front.
Did you find it?
No, I'm looking for the case.
What do you want?
Let me see the case she puts in front. It was a ROR. No, it was a motion.
We were waiting to see if the information was filed on it.
Okay, I have to call the private attorney for that case as well, when we're ready.
Okay. Once we heard on it?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. All right. Your name, sir?
William Knott.
Tell him, I guess we'll call him in like 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right. You're here on a violation of probation on a burglary of an unoccupied structure or conveyance. According to this, your warrant, your bond is set at no bond. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Your Honor, there
Yes, sir.
You're also here in 18, I'm sorry?
I was just saying there are
Okay.
3 cases.
Sorry, 18 CF 10624 AO, violation of probation on a burglary of an unoccupied structure, conveyance, trafficking, and stolen property. That is also set at no bond. And 18 CF 10595 AO, violation of probation on burglary of an unoccupied structure, 3 counts, grand theft between 500 and 1,000, trafficking and stolen property, and burglary. That is also set at no bond. I'll appoint the public defender on all 3 of those cases for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sir, your name?
Stefan Pierce.
All right, 17 CF 12363 BO, you're on a violation of community control and false imprisonment and felony battery. According to this warrant, your bond is set at no bond. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. All right, sir, in the back, your name?
Ridge Taylor.
What happened to Ridge Taylor?
That's from you.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's your name?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said something else. You're here on two cases. The first one is 16 CF 14548 AO on a violation of probation on robbery with a gun or a deadly weapon. According to this, your bond is set at no bond, violent felony offender, special concern. You're also here in 17 CF 1391 AO, burglary of an occupied dwelling, leaving the scene of a crash involving injuries. According to that, your bond is set at no bond. I'll appoint the public defender on both of those cases, okay? Your name, sir?
Kedrick Barnes.
Okay, so now we're jumping.
I think this is on the out-of-county, Your Honor.
Out-of-county.
What's your last name?
Last name Barnes.
Okay. All right, Palm Beach County's got a warrant out for you, 20-005267 on petty theft and a battery. According to this, your bond is set at $5,000 on each. I thought I saw something about GPS.
Yes, out of Seminole County.
Okay, that's another case that he has?
Yes, it's for hold.
Okay. He also has a hold out of Seminole County for GPS, okay?
And Your Honor, that was 5,000 on the out-of-county?
On each, yes.
It says report to Seminole County Police.
I don't know, it's just the holds just say GPS, GPS, GPS.
Okay, thank you.
Tiana Holiday bonded, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Tiana Holiday, the next one bonded.
Yeah, oh, bonded, Holiday bonded. All right. And then your name in the back, sir? Okay. All right, you're here. Seminole County wants you 195225 MMA, 2 out-of-county warrants on a DUI and possession of cannabis. According to this warrant, your bond is set at $2,000 as to each count, okay?
Sir.
All right, thank you. All right, ma'am, your name?
Marty Smith.
All right, ma'am, you're here out of Seminole County, 076431 CFA, dealing in stolen property, 2 counts, false information, 2 counts according to this warrant. Your bond is set at no bond for each. So what do we do now? We contact Seminole County and see if they want to give us bonds for her, or what do we tell her?
Okay, you appoint the public defender, and then we send the court minutes to the JA, which
Okay.
is Jill, at the end of court, and she'll reach out to them.
All right, so I'll appoint the public defender. The public defender's going to contact Seminole County, and we're going to see if we can get you bonds on these, okay?
Okay, because this was from 2014,
Yeah.
like,
Well, that doesn't make it
I
any
don't-
better.
well, I did my full probation. I had 5 years probation. I did it. So I don't understand.
Well, I appointed a lawyer to look into it for you, and then we'll get an answer for you, okay? All right, sir, your name?
Trent Tucker.
All right, Leon County wants you, 2018 CF 4002 AO, violation of probation. According to this, your bond is set at no bond. I'll appoint the public defender. I'm not sure if you were paying attention when I was explaining to the girl before you. We'll contact Leon County, see if we can get you a bond on this, okay?
Okay, I had a bond recently, but they just...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about Leon County. So we'll reach out to them and we'll see what we can do for you.
Okay,
All
thank
right, thank you. Your name, sir?
Carlos Vega, sir.
I'm sorry, one more time?
Carlos Vega.
All right, Pinellas County wants in case number ADFQY0E on a driving license suspended. According to this, you failed to appear. Your bond is set at $2,013.
Yeah, okay.
Appoint the public defender to represent you. They'll reach out to Pinellas County and, oh, no, because you got a bond.
Your Honor, can I say something, please?
Well, understand as a defendant, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you, so I don't want you to talk about
Yes, sir.
the facts of the case. Does he have two of them?
Yes.
Hold on, yeah, you got a second real quick. Second, Pinellas County, ADRMUPE. That's a driving while license suspended. That bond is set at no bond. What do you want to tell me?
I would like to talk, please, Your Honor.
Are they both 2000? They're both 2013?
Yes.
They're both 2013. Yes.
Now,
I know you're busy. Let me see the stack.
Do we get Mr. Wilson? All right.
Your Honor,
Yes.
can I talk, please?
Well, if your lawyer says it's okay, no problem.
Your Honor, I'm objecting to him wanting to speak to you about the facts of the case, but he's indicated that he does.
Okay.
But I've advised him not to.
All right, your lawyers advise you not to talk about the facts of the case. Understand as well, I'm a judge here in Orange County. I got nothing to do with Pinellas County, so there isn't much that I can do for you.
I understand, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, I had a hearing for both cases. I went to the hearing, and they postponed the hearing because of the coronavirus, even though the courts in Pinellas County were open. Now, I was supposed to be overseas, so I requested it to be changed after September 29, when I was supposed to be back. Now, about a month ago, I got a letter in the mail, and there it says the hearing dates that I have for that. And it's November 20-something in November, for both cases, the same date. Now, somewhere along the line, something happened. He got confused, but I got letters in my house that says what date it is. And it's November 20. I can't remember exactly what date it is. And I got that from Pinellas County Court for those particular tickets. So somehow they screwed up the paperwork, but I have proof of that in my house, Your Honor.
Okay.
So I'm not.
What do you want me to do about it?
Well, give me 3 days to go over there and get this, clear up. I don't have the money right now to pay a bond or a bail or anything.
I can't release you. I don't have any authority to do that.
I'm not.
The
Your Honor,
Pinellas
I'm not.
County judge would have
I
to.
understand that. I'm not a criminal. This is the first time ever in my life that I've been in a place like this.
Well, what I can do is I can appoint the public defender and they can reach out for you. I can't do it.
So that means what? I'm gonna have to be here until a public defender helps me out?
Yeah, she's standing right next to you.
What about the letters that I have at home?
I'm sorry?
The letters that I have at home from the court, Pinellas County Court, saying that these particular two cases were changed to some time in November 20th. I can't remember the exact date.
Is there anybody at home that can get them?
Maybe my mom can go and pick him up.
Okay. We'll give that contact information to your public defender. She'll come talk to you after court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
No,
All right.
And to reiterate, PDA was appointed on this.
I'll
public
appoint the
defender.
PDA on both
Thank
of
you.
So Moran Huler, who is a 33-day that the defense counsel wants to appear, so they're going to appear telephonically. And then we're bringing James Wilson over, and then I think that's it.
We have to fix.
That was
Pre-trial
on-
orders.
This was the add-on docket. The rest
they
of the
got
33rd day motions.
We're printing new one.
Yeah,
You
I
signed an
just,
email to us? Okay.
the name.
Can you
I think
print
it
out
was-
that?
Your Honor, was that
Say just
Keeler?
emailed you one. Can you reprint it?
Was that
'Cause
Morgan, Moran that was appearing?
The last gentleman.
Who just emailed me one?
To say, we
You
need
said
a
the
new
private
order
attorney
for
wanted
one
to
of the
appear
pretrial
telephonically?
cases.
Carlos Vega. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's a 33-day motion that you don't have to worry about.
Ms. Bush was asking.
Oh, okay. She can ask me.
And it's Mr. Moran, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And I already have the information pulled up. The information was filed.
Okay.
And I'm looking now, I believe defense counsel might have been copied on that.
That's the one with the 2000. This is the wrong person.
What do you want me to do with that one?
This one, she's gonna print a new one. We're gonna put
So
no
this
action.
one I'm going to put 2,000?
Yes.
Oh. This one you want me to throw away?
Yes. And there's a new one coming.
And how do I get Mr. Cagle on the phone? Oh, she's calling.
She's coming. you. Okay, now this one you're gonna put no action, because you took no
Oh,
action.
this one, no action?
Still waiting on Mr. Wilson.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. On this one?
The top button.
The top button at the bottom. Oh, it's-
T-A-L-K.
Hello?
Hello, Your Honor. It's Jacob Stewart.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about you, sir?
I'm all right. We're here on 2020 CF 8855AO on Huler Moran. The state's informed me that they filed an information on this case. What do you want to tell me?
They did. Miss Hatch, on behalf of the state, filed it this morning right before our hearing was originally set. I'd ask you, Your Honor, obviously our 30-day motion is moot at this point, but since he's been in jail for this period of time, that we would ask you to set a bond pursuant to the bond schedule. Under the rule of procedures and settled case law, he's entitled to a bond, even if it's a life felony, unless the state can present proof evident or presumption great. And based upon the affidavit that you have in the file, I'm presuming in front of you, we don't think it rises to that. So we'd ask him to be set to a bond schedule, Your Honor, or the bond amount at the bond schedule.
Mr. Stewart, this is Orange County Judge Adam McGinnis. I'm just filling in for today. I'm not out here anymore full-time. All I have is the 33-day motion in front of me. I don't know what happened at IA's, and so I don't know if proof evident presumption great was found then. So just give me a moment to take a look at it. And, because I don't have any information on the case other than the 33-day motion.
But I apologize for that, Your Honor.
Yeah.
My team should have sent that to you. I'm sorry.
No problem.
And Your Honor, Edith Bush for the state, this matter was not set for a bond hearing for today. So we were only here for the 33-day motion, Your Honor. And the state,
And it's been filed on, so I think you might have to go before the trial judge at this point to
Yes, Your
get a
Honor.
bond. Let me just take a look real quick. I'll let you know if I'm comfortable even addressing it or not.
Yes, sir.
and Your Honor, the state would put on the record, the state has had no notice for a bond hearing.
Yeah. I'm not even
At
gonna,
this time.
I haven't even gotten to the point if I'm gonna address it or not. Is this is his original writing here? So those are the minutes from IA.
And in this matter, Your Honor, the public defender was present. The public defender waived the right for the
Yes.
court to find.
I see that. Yeah, Mr. Stewart, without having the file in front of me, I have access to the court minutes. I've looked at the minutes. I don't think I'm in a position to entertain the motion, you know, and it wouldn't be fair to the state and it wouldn't be fair to your client if all I have to deal with is a face sheet and some court minutes.
I understand your position, Your Honor. I have the utmost respect for Mrs. Bush. I've dealt with her for my 10-year career. She's nothing but a professional. I'm disappointed, though, in the state attorney's office that, you know, they filed it at this point and it hindered us. And so I respect, obviously, your position and the state's position, but obviously I'm an advocate for my client, just trying to figure out what happened from the state attorney downtown. So
Sure.
I appreciate both your time and thank you very much for your consideration, Your Honor.
All right, sorry I couldn't do more for everybody.
I understand, sir.
All right, have a
day.
good one.
Be safe. Bye.
Stay healthy.
You gotta put something, you had the motion?
I did the, I thought I already signed the order on that motion.
No, it should have been a.
Or where's the paperwork? What did you do with it?
We'll look for it later on. When you're done. Do Wilson's case.
All right, so your name?
Oh, okay.
You have it, don't you?
James Terrell Wilson.
Yeah, you do. Sir, your name?
James Terrell Wilson.
All right, 2020 CF 11144AO. There, I just saw you stamped it too. You're here on one count of trafficking in methamphetamines greater than 14 grams. I bet you the guy in the wheelchair is glad that it wasn't him. Tampering with physical evidence, driving while license suspended, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You're also here in 2020 MM 6703AO, 2 counts of resisting officer without violence. Reviewed the affidavits, found probable cause, appoint the public defender, and I'll set your bond on count 1 at $35,000 on count 1, 150 on 2, 150 on 3, 150 on 4, 150 on 5, and on your 2 resistings, I'll reduce them each to 100.
What was it for the resisting, Your Honor?
100 on each. Reduce them down from 500 to 100. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else from the state?
Nothing from the state.
Anything else from the defense?
Nothing further from the defense,
All right.
Your Honor.
We have one.